And speaking of good feelings, I want to talk about a little story to wrap things up. I want to talk about a little story that happened in the Plus R community. So you're probably familiar with from me just talking endlessly. Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R is my favorite fighting game of all time. I'm not very good at it, but it's my favorite. And there was a recent, I guess, drama in the community where so there is a pretty well-known Soul player named Jason Riot. And Jason Riot is infamous for, number one, his incredible level of execution. Like near like TAS level of precision. Like almost superhuman level of execute of like just physical execution. And number two, he has a huge fucking ego and he's annoying. He's a huge bitch, I think. So he just constantly talks shit. He always talks like if he beats he'll never shut the fuck up about how he beat like Skeletal Minion. He'll never shut up about how he beat Elven Shadow. There was the thing that solidified it for me was that, so, you know, when people do, every time there's like a community tournament, right? At the end of the tournament, they'll make like the organizers will make a little graphic, a top 8 graphic, you know, and it'll just be the top 8 finalists and like their name, their like Twitter handle or whatever, and what they, you know, the character that they play. A little graphic. Jason got second place. Okay, so well, I should one month it shows up and it's the graphic just doesn't have a second place. It goes first, and then there's just an empty spot, and then third, and the rest of the list. Jason got second place and asked to be removed, not even be included in the graphic, because he could not, his raw ego, could not bear being second place in a fucking like stacked tournament, which is like more than respectable. More than, no one would hold that. People were like, damn, you got second place. That's pretty good. But his ego couldn't handle not having the first place graphic. That solidified, like, this guy's such a bitch. So this post goes out, and it's from it is from I should have checked this. I should have checked this. It's from the tournament series. Oh, the tweet's been deleted. Okay. Let's see. So, what was the first tweet? What was the first one? What was the first one he got? Why am I? Yeah. So WNF. So WNF it's Wednesday Night Fights. Yeah. It's the Wednesday Night Fights tournament series. It's a big multi-game tournament series with a bunch of different communities in it. And the organizer of Wednesday Night Fights put out this post that said certain members of the community had brought something to his attention that they suspected Jason of using scripts, and they were looking through like replays of just like playing versus him to check the matchup, like they were just doing like standard reviewing the replays. And when they looked at his input history, they thought it was weird how he would do very specific like option selects. He made some kind of strange execution choices where he would just like dial something in when he didn't confirm it. Excuse me. And his timing on certain techniques was, in their opinion, suspicious. So, for instance, there is a in plus R, there is a there's a mechanic called force Roman cancels, or FRCs. So FRCs are basically like Roman cancels, but instead of, this was like their first attempt to like expand the mechanic of Roman cancels. So normally a Roman cancel would be like when on hit. You would normally just be able to cancel it on hit. An FRC was, you could cancel, it was like a special cancel that you could do at any, it could be at any point in the move, and it would only cost 25%. The catch was that not every move could be FRC'd, and so only specific moves had what are called FRC points, and they were called points because they were specifically like windows of time during the move where you could perform an FRC. And some of these FRC windows are extremely tight. It can be like frames 11 through 12, like a 2-frame window that you can do. And FRCs are for many different things. Sometimes it's like you can bait out, you can use it like to like bait out an attack from your opponent by canceling it early. Sometimes you get more combo opportunities, and it's just locked, it's just gated behind like a high execution requirement of just having that timing down. There's a lot of things that FRCs are used for. Soul has an FRC point on his gun flame, his like big wave of fire that travels across the ground. So he has an FRC point like right after, it's like frames 15 through 16 or something, where he can perform an FRC. It's a 2-frame window, and if he does it, it's like right after it starts coming out, and it basically lets him, it's like Gunflame YRC from Exerd, but much harder to do. And it basically like allows him to like, oh, now he has this wave of fire that's traveling across the screen very slowly, and it just gives him a bunch of like, he can like run behind it, he can like jump over it, he gets a lot of like combo opportunities off of it. Being able to like consistently do Gunflame FRC opens up a lot of options for Soul. And Jason had what in their opinion was an unreasonable amount of consistency with Gunflame FRC. So they bring this attention to Light, who is one of the who is like the organizer for one WNF, and I'm getting this. I'm trying to remember the specifics. So because again, these are real people, and again, like, don't harass anyone, right? Don't harass. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but don't harass anyone who was involved in this. So in their opinion, they suspected him of scripting. They bring this up to Light. Light issues a ban. They say Jason is banned from WNF. And it likely means that he would be banned from other tournaments if he's a known cheater, right? Jason, other people had reached out to Jason asking him if he could clear it up before the ban went out. He didn't respond. The ban went out, and then he said that he could prove that that he was not cheating. He ends up, and Light laid out like these are the ways that he could exonerate himself if he like went on stream with a hand cam, and literally showed him doing the inputs. If he went on training mode and he just showed himself actually performing this stuff, that it was legit in a live setting. And Jason did just that. He went on stream and he proved, like, he was just doing that shit. He was just doing that shit. And he also submitted a bunch more replays from games that he had, and some other community members. Who else? One of them was, Omega Tom Hanks Florida and Oreo Speedwagon, who I know from the Plus R's Discord. He's a Slayer player. Cool guy. I've literally gotten like matchup advice from him. Very neat dude. Shoutouts to Oreo. They looked over a bunch of other replays of Jason. There was footage that came out of Jason going in, because that was the other thing, was that like, oh, Jason, he only plays online tournaments. He doesn't go to in-person tournaments. There was some footage of him from like 2017 playing Xrd at a pretty high level. Obviously, it was a few years ago, but so then, literally like 24 hours later, Light puts out a post on the Discord saying, Omega Tom Hanks Florida and Oreo Speedwagon have put an incredible amount of legwork into exonerating Jason Riot. I believe that despite the several issues I had with his Twitch stream, the analysis of his replays is compelling enough, because they went through and they analyzed a bunch of his replays. The analysis of his replays is compelling enough for me to formally unban Jason Riot from WNF's Plus R. I will have a full video going up later, yada yada. So, what the fuck? I literally just clicked, and the fucking Twitter likes to update when I don't want it to. So Tom Hanks and Oreo put so dumb to say, but they put out like a document, and they just going through every single thing, like Gunflame FRC, like his crazy consistency doing that. Then they go debunked, not the same input every time, varies by a couple frames, and consistent 2-frame FRCs are not out of the realm of possibility with practice. Statistical analysis of 5 matches with the hand cam, accuracy is between 75 to 80% on 2-frame inputs. That's also viable. Inputs are also consistent with the specific way that he holds his thumb in a certain way on the controller. Also reasonable. Inhuman reactions, nope. It was within, all of his reactions were within 15 frames, which is like roughly human reaction speed. Human reaction speed's about 14. He just has really fucking good, above 15 frames of reaction time, which is I think the human limit is like 15 or 16. So yeah, he had more than reasonable. All the stuff that like he was supposedly extremely consistent, like overly consistent, was like, yeah, either there's an amount of variance, or it's very well within the human limit. Anything he did like with 1 frame was not like, it was kind of random, easily explained by just a lot of practice. All this stuff, like even this one thing, like supposedly an option select that he was doing of like mashing punch after like some certain moves. They just said weird but not cheating. And oh, he's new, he can't be that good. Nope, he's been playing since like 2012. Excuse me. And my favorite part of this document, conclusion. Jason is just that dude. Jason is just that dude. Which is a great... It's like, yeah. So, like, is he a bitch, and does he have a big ego that's annoying? Yes. Is he just really good? Also true. The guy is just really good. He's like a textbook villain that you kind of like, oh, fuck him. That guy sucks, but he's too good. And I mean, like, even like people who know him are like, yeah, he's, or who have interacted with him are like, yeah, he's annoying, but he's not like a bad guy. He's just annoying and he has a big ego, which he partially deserves. Like, yeah, he could be more graceful about it, but he is really fucking good at Plus R. And so this was like a big... It was definitely like a fuck up on the part of the tournament organizers to just like accept that without a lot of... I think they should have given it more than like 24 hours. I think Light had like a very emotional reaction because obviously he cares about his tournament series and he wants to preserve it, and he was clearly really upset at issuing the ban. But I think like he had like a kind of knee-jerk emotional reaction, and there just wasn't enough evidence or wasn't enough vetting of the evidence. So obviously, like, don't go and like harass anyone. I think everyone just wants to move on from the situation, and just not let it just have higher proof standards in the future. Like, this is, if anything like this happens again, it's going to be an example of like, hey, remember what happened with Jason Riot? Yeah, let's like give it 3 days, or let's give them a chance to respond. That's more than like 12 hours. I think he literally just panicked and issued a ban, which was dumb. But hey, I don't think everyone can move on. It's water under the bridge. And I wouldn't be telling this story if there wasn't a great conclusion. Because there was. So, for the last, for like 2 months or something? I forget when the channel was opened. The Plus R, there is a channel called Plus R, just spelled out like that, Plus R, all caps. And it is like the sort of basically official Plus R community channel. And so what they do is they upload like long sets. They do I think some tournament footage. They upload clip compilations. Basically, it's just a place. It's just a place to like gather the video form of the Plus R community, and it's great. It's really cool. They do a series called Smorgasbord, which is just a compilation of like funny or cool clips that people submit every month, and I'm pretty sure it's every month. I'm pretty sure, or every 2 weeks, something like that. And it's great. It's really cool. I've been subscribed to it for a while, and the community was obviously very like, it was unfortunate that there was that this situation happened, but in order to turn something good out of it, because here's the thing, is that Jason Riot is so, there's actually a lot of people who were like, oh yeah, he like inspired me to play Soul, or he inspired me to like grind Soul combos or play the game. It's like people like, he is so, whatever you think of his conduct or what he says, he's so fucking good at the character that he's legitimately just like become a catalyst for people getting into the game. And so in an effort to celebrate the positives of the community, the Discord did a thing where they basically had people, all the Soul players in the community, submit their cool clips, their funny clips, mostly like just sick, crazy ass combos they were doing. And they put together an honest to God combo music video. Combo music videos, I feel like you don't see them very often anymore, just because, I don't know, it's like an AMV, but instead of an anime, it's just fighting game combos. And they kind of gone the way of the dodo in the last few years, but they can be really cool. And I fucking love this video. It's called If the Hat Don't Fit. I'll link it below. And honestly, even if you don't know anything about Plus R, I fucking would highly recommend you watch it, because it's awesome. It's so good. They picked this song that from an artist I'd never heard of. They're called the Ginkgo Boys, or the Gingnan Boys. They're a Japanese like pop punk band, and it's a song called I Don't Want to Die, and this song has like the most explosive energy I've heard in so long. It is ridiculous. It's so hype. I've been listening to it recently. It's so good, and it's just a compilation of like, it's so cool because it's it's such a great showcase of like how insane and cool and wild this game is. And it's only like one character. It's focused on one character who isn't even considered top tier. Soul is considered like mid tier at best in Plus R by most people. He isn't even top tier, but it's like it's so rad. I can't say it any other way. It's just like an excellent showcase of how cool this game is and how cool the community is. And it's got a great song. It's edited fantastically. I'm a sucker for matching like footage to the beat of music. You can probably tell that if you watch a lot of my videos. Yeah, and it proves that once again, Plus R is the greatest fighting game community out there, baby. The strongest. But it is like a nice story. Like taking something that was really shitty and unfortunate and just shouldn't have happened and turning it into like a celebration of how sick baller ass this game is. And how many people were like inspired to play this awesome game.